come on up, thanks. Mary, you'll be next up. No, actually, yeah, Mary.
Joe Verbrugge, 1519 Bonnie Bray, Hermosa East. My question's about community choice aggregation, CCA. Considering that the two remaining council members are very in favor of having a CCA in Hermosa Beach, and it's going to be very likely that you all will be voting on a CCA in our community during your term. So, given the unknown nature of the costs associated with the CCA, unknown costs associated with terminating a CCA if we decide we don't want to be in it, the unknown costs associated with power charge and differential adjustments, and many other things that are unestablished in the energy market. I think that gets a lot of people, especially on fixed incomes, concerned in this community. So my question, considering the complicated nature of energy policy, is what are your qualifications as a council member to make a decision on CCAs in our community?
Thanks. Mary?
Okay, thank you. Interesting question. I'm a little bit newer to community choice aggregation conversation, but I have been doing some reading up on that, and I'll tell you what I know. I'm not an expert, I am not an authority. I would need to school up, just like I have to do on school board when there's something that I am not innately familiar with. The little bit that I do know echoes what you have shared, which is that it's a very complicated equation and I guess opportunity for a community potentially, but perhaps Hermosa is not ideal for such a thing. I don't know that to be true or not true just yet, but I know that size has something to do with how successful it could be, and so, you know, what I'll simply say is that if it ever comes up before a council that I am sitting on, that it would have to be taken to complete task like every other thing that comes before this body. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Haney?
Thank you. So the question is the qualifications as a council member to rule on CCA. I don't think that's different than anything else that we rule on. We are not experts on a lot of issues that come before us. That's why we have significant staff, and sometimes we have to go outside of our staff and go to consultants, and we also consult with other elected officials or other similar cities or entities that are in the same position. So my involvement in the last 4 years has been, I'm an engineer by background, so I can understand some engineering aspects of things, but a lot of the stuff about CCA is something that I'm learning. So I attended several meetings that our staff, this process started in 2013, so it's been going on for a while. I attended several meetings that our staff has put together either by themselves or through consultants to give us information about CCA. I got in a bus with a few people here in this room and went to Lancaster and sat through an all-day event with Lancaster's staff and mayor to learn about what they're doing about CCA and learn how that's impacting their city. I serve as a city's delegate to the South Bay Council of Governments, which is 15 South Bay cities that meet once a month in Torrance. And we had a member from Los Angeles County that's dealing with the CCA with Los Angeles County come and give us a presentation about what LA County is doing.
You can summarize.
So that's, I guess, my qualifications over the last 2 years, what I've learned about CCA going forward. In order for us to make a decision about where we go with CCA, we're going to have to look at all the issues that you've raised, where the numbers are, what the risks are, where the financial issues are, and we don't have those yet. All we've expressed as a city is our interest to look into it and evaluate it. LA County is looking into it and evaluating it. Several other cities are looking into it and evaluating. And the last thing I'll mention, because I think it's been out there, the concern that the city of Hermosa Beach is going to become a utility and going to run our own power company. That's not what CCA is. That's not what any of us have supported. That's not what anything we're going to look into. Well, we're going to be looking into whether or not the city of Hermosa Beach, in conjunction with a bunch of other cities in the South Bay or with LA County, would make sense for us to evaluate going to CCA. And based on what I know about it today, the expectation is the rates would be less and the power would be more renewable than what we currently get from Edison. And if that's the case, if the rates are less and the power is renewable, I would likely to be supporting it.
Thanks, Haney. Trent?
I don't think we should be entertaining the thought of joining a CCA. And the reason being is because I think it's outside of the scope of our expertise and what we should be doing as a city with our time, effort, and energy. We should be focused on things that benefit Hermosa, that are usable, visible, and tangible. Now, the state of California leads the world in moving to renewables. And the state of California has mandated that the purchase of renewable power will be 50% and beyond moving forward. And we will benefit from that as consumers of electricity. I believe the CCA, while it was created some years ago, had some good intentions, is going to die on the vine. It's because the state has taken control, and the producers of the energy are now selling the energy through the grid, through the power utility companies, and that's a more efficient model than having all of the cities try to combine and do something different and have consultants paid and get special things and people, and it's really just a boondoggle. We should not be focusing on that. We should be focusing on fixing our sewers, our roads, our sidewalks, our streets, our greenbelt, our parks, our buildings, and other things versus this thing that is kind of intangible.
You can summarize?
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. That was not something. Pete?
Thank you. You asked about qualifications. I've been certified as in the Green Code and the Title 24 energy codes that have been mandated by the state of California that I'm obligated to enforce in my employment. I've seen a lot of changes in the industry. We see more and more energy efficient appliances. Every time you buy an appliance, as I said earlier, with that little star on the bottom, you're helping. But when it gets down to it, what we have to do is we're going to have to spend to join this group, and I think the money could be better spent here. As we've heard, and as you read, the state has mandated clean energy by 2030 or 2040, somewhere in there. And I don't feel that the city or even this community choice aggregation group really is needed. People are putting solar panels on their homes, really to get out of Tier 3 of the Edison, but at the same time, we're generating more electricity than we can use in this state with solar panels, and the state is now currently paying other states to take our power because we have no place for it.
Pete, you can summarize?
The regulators are saying we're still going to need gas-fired natural gas plants for at night because we don't have enough battery energy to place the power to store. But all in all, I think what I have told people is thank goodness government is so slow in adopting something because the private sector has outpaced what this originally intended to be. And I feel that the city can concentrate its efforts on repairing our infrastructure and helping items in the city here that need to be fixed. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Stacy?
All right. Thanks for the question on CCA, Joe. Gives us an opportunity to talk about it. We haven't talked as a council or a community on this topic for months. The last discussions we had, we were examining what Lancaster is doing and what they believe is rather successful for their community and innovative and financially responsible in their opinion. That model, in my opinion, was likely too high risk for a community our size and of our budget. So as far as I'm concerned, to form our own CCA or maybe partner with one or two cities, I haven't seen information that would make me feel confident that that would work for us. The other viable option that's out there is to partner with LA County. Again, we have received, this community, this council, almost no information on that. Some cities have joined LA County, and we have told them that we had an intent to potentially partner with them on that. But without this information to let us know if we're making a good decision or not, I wouldn't feel comfortable moving forward. But I do think that if we had more information, if we had more public meetings, and much more community input, as far as LA County is concerned, if we met a three-prong requirement, I'd be interested in looking into it. It'd have to be no or low risk. It would have to improve our quality of life, which would also mean meeting or helping us meet our carbon reduction goals. And it would have to be financially prudent for our municipality and our residents. Thank you.
Thanks, Stacy. Matt?
Thank you, Joe. That's an excellent question. I don't think there's any doubt. People know that I've been speaking about this for about a year now, year and a half, that I strongly oppose CCA. I believe it's just part of the continuous political agenda to go ahead and, for our carbon neutrality goals and rebrand us as the Green Idea City. As far as how I'm qualified, I do know that an electron produced by a solar panel in Lancaster will never make it to the city here in Hermosa Beach. So I believe that this is just a glorified carbon offset scheme. You know, there's something called fungibility, and there's something called fungibility where an electron produced from a solar panel is not the same as an electron produced from an electric company. So that's my opinion. Obviously, we have a difference of opinion on this from the catcalls here in the audience, but that's just the way it is. But the marketing promotion material that comes out says that we're buying and acquiring renewable energy and we're putting it on the grid and it's going to be delivered to your home. That is not true. It is put onto the grid. That is it. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.